Tractors Turning, Parts 1, 3 and 4 by Alexander Velky.
Did you hear the one about the magic tractor? It was driving down the road when it suddenly turned into a field.
Part 1, D Roads. These back lanes are suggestive of ancient practices persisting. Cows' cloven hoofs squelches echo down steep-banked rows of sycamore hedges into littered drainage ditches. Asphalt crumbles at the edges, black bitumen blushes an algae isthmus, ushering blown leaves from this old cottage to the next, by fields whose names are only known and spoken by the few whose fathers and mothers stuck it out here down the decades. Defenders have been discontinued now, but collies will jostle therein for decades yet, ejecting themselves at the first sign of slowing, following an impulse carried far back in their brains, down their spines, to catch the clouds between their teeth and keep the shapes from shifting. Black tracks furrow up soft roadside sod, churning symbiosis into desert stretches of trailing muck, smeared like diary entries out across languid afternoons. The echo of engines filtered through blackthorn and bramble, bottled in dull demijohns of sloe gin and blackberry wine. The rhythms of all these machines embroider sagas into tabby-woven bolts that keep unreeling, fields yielding to the plough's blades, planets spinning in a glitterball disco, silhouettes of embryos growing in lichen on the graves, frost-hardened hearts thawing, far-sighted eyes squinting, bent bodies still belonging, age aching, youth yearning, flesh degrading into dust, blood, milk, mud forever flowing, and tractors turning into rust. Part 3, a warning for would-be ramblers. Beware the public footpath signs. They're put there to trap the tourists. Merciful locals snap the plastic, leave the wooden ones to rot. The kind of farmers let hedge trimmers sever them as they rattle past, or else erect the most oblivious fencing directly across them, as if the land itself had forgot the laws and histories that have passed. High tensile barbed wire, proper battleground stuff. What lurks behind is worse than mines in no man's land. The Bosnian countryside pales in comparison. Rest uninsured and uninsurable. This isn't just ugly brown bogs and broken bottle grasses. Bad, worse, worst luck. You're taking your life in your hands, gambling on the grace of cows the size of elephants that seem by the hoof prints high in the bottomless muck to either weigh as much as ants or to be up to something dastardly. You will sink to your shins first, then wet sound will suck and you will lose a boot when you extract the first foot. Then another, taking root for you, in spite of you, then down to your knees, and now you're really panicking. The sounds around are turning up, the silence is made deafening, nothing human anywhere near, not even so much as an engine that's operated by bloody beings. No gardener's question time here, just flesh flies buzzing slow, too close, and closer. Heavy minotaur breath on the wind, lowing, echoing off scheduled monuments, stinking of shit not quite fully vegetal. Disappearing whistling from ground nesting birds, buggering helix-wise, skyward, off, what larks, leaving offspring below as an offering to the rusted beasts of the moor and the mire implied by all this. Look, they've built their own moats round Iron Age mottes with sycamore spires filled with piss and worse. Catch the sun winking in petrol-hued spectrums shivering round distracted tractor tyres on surfaces skin-thick. Baileys of 4 times stomached, once shat grass, pocked like an asteroid's acne. If anyone saw, they never said. A shrug of the shoulders, a shake of the head. They don't know you. They never did. Never do. Try not to move. Feel the warmth from foul throats lift the back of your shirt as meat spirits throw their voices across valleys where flowers never grow. Flail your arms, finally. Reach for a branch that's not dead, or you are, and slowly wrestle for up to where humuli are mutating into instruments of industry. Or accept your fate. Sink into it, that lifeless, humane mess where only appetites can breathe, where suffocation satiates, where nothing is really quite ever alive enough to believe in. Everything's a deeply held breath down here. What's up, primordial dude with an axe wound in his skull? What brought you here? Did you come to take your dog for a walk? To kill some time somewhere? Someone? Before you took some wares over there? Did you plunge flush misjudgment looking for the green dotted line on the Ordnance Survey map that came with the roundhouse you found on Rightmove, printed in BC 1999? Did you rein your horse and park it, stopping on the way to market on a whim in a lay-by, just maybe spotting a public footpath sign, while silhouetted behemoths from thick fog emerged unseen behind promising tractors turning up for purges, digging doggers' graves, tractors churning up the verges, vehicles driven to deprivation in desperation due to that untimely defenestration of common land agro politicization made rarest meat served to itself for sovereignty, for national health, spurning self-help homilies, these man-machines fed on brine-cooled wine told stories taller than crumbling bungalows of high-rise concrete boxes patrolled by tuberculous urban foxes, battery farming, swarming benefit tourists imported from imagined war zones in Land Rover limousines to feast on each other's feces in our backyards like human centipedes, forcing our fair hands to shrink to fists and turning the best of us to an imagined life of crime. I'm not a dentist, but my teeth are wearing thin of enamel. I'm not a racist, but my tractor's turning into a camel. Part 4. Brenin Tractor. Somewhere deep within this labyrinth of hamlets, long beyond where the concrete becomes pothole pocked and slumps to slate slag tracks, by long abandoned farmhouses of corrugated metal walls with peeling paint the shades of scabs which whistle mournful melodies for the Atlantic gales down overgrown bridleways littered with obsolete tools of agriculture's yesteryear, chewed half to death by brambles, trapping desecrated standing stones that stand no more and understand no more the land they have inherited there is a roar, comes echoing through bushes, shakes the brambles, sends the birds away, rippling dirty flooded ditches, blowing leaves and scattering sheep and cattle down along the hedges. Awesome, awful, both animal and mechanical, sparking the ignition of a most unholy mission into so many minds of late grown cold and hard as weather-beaten headstones in untended situations, whose inscriptions have been flattened under centuries of tears and acid lichen. This cry comes from hydraulic lungs, a beast that's as much meat as rust and metal, untransformable muscle machine, grown too far from its creator's scheme to understand which part is its heart and which its radiator, which part is its arsehole and which its combustion chamber, from which ruptured organ its red diesel bleeds, or of whose cruel intention its cursed birth speaks. Its teeth are pins, its bones are pipes, its eyes are misted windscreens crying milk and wiping all the time. Its flesh is beef and lamb and featherless hen, tanned black by clinging clouds of blowflies, rotten, stinking, battery acid burnt. It staggers blind in circles on tired trotters, spitting steam, and hews great hunks of rocky earth in shovel hands to fling them high and far to try to fell the clouds that hem it in. A wreck of a thing, raging blindly all hours. It does not work at all. It is at war with itself. And yet they will still feed it their firstborns.